Hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash. That's who this word ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ in the ancient Paleo Hebrew tongue. This is a brother Adonam Yah with a quick hit. Want to get double honors to the elders and apostles across the four corners of the earth who rule well and teach well. Predominantly the ones at the home of truth, and we know where that truth lies, at the home of great millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect out here pushing this word and truth and sincerity in these last days. And shalom to the Israelite foreigners, cause confusion, looking like the heathen, come back to their heritage in these last days and coming back and believing on the names of Yahweh Shai, and a few Aquaf that watch and believe and our testimony. It's like to y'all, I like to say shalom. Oh, and big shout out to the elder of the Israel camp, brother Kazak, whom I teach under. I'm going to get straight into it. This is an article called Trump's Palantir-Powered Surveillance is Turning America into a Digital Prison. Okay? And this has pretty much to do with Trump having a government signing government contracts with these tech companies that will ultimately further the affliction, But he signed a government contract with a data mining company called Palantir, and this basically data mining company is going to take the privacy away from millions and millions and millions of Americans, of the masses in America, to spy on them, to collect their data, see what they're searching, see what type of videos, information they're watching. It's going to collect everything as far as your data as far as everything will be here, all your information, your IRS data, your medical records. There will be a social behavior score, which the article doesn't really talk much about this, but that is coming as well. Okay, this will be because this system is going to be how can I say it? It's gonna be a all-seeing tracking system, basically, to keep eyes on the Americans, on the masses, make sure they ain't getting out of line. But really, this is for the elect, okay? This is for the elect. I believe through the spirit of Yahweh by Shemiyah Shai that Esau is doing this to ultimately, roll out his plans and get his agenda going for the society that he's trying to cultivate, But this is to see who and where the elect is, man. This is to spy on the prophets, man. Esau Edom is going to want to know in this day where the elect is, okay? Now it says, President Trump's plan to fuse government power with private surveillance tech to build a centralized national citizen database is the final step in transforming America from a constitutional republic into a digital dictatorship, armed with algorithms and powered by unaccountable, all-seeing artificial intelligence. Okay? So, with this device that that Trump is trying to implement, he's going further into it, and basically wants to roll this out on the masses. This device is ushering in a society that's going to be convenient with the MOTB, all right? Because we know once the MOTB is presented and made mandatory, they're going to be the ones that take it. They're going to be the ones that don't take it, okay? And the ones that don't take it, of course, who are those? Most of those are going to be, let's just say this. The ones that don't take it are going to be the part of the 1/3, and the elect are not going to take, they're not going to abide by or take these new laws that's implemented, or we're not going to take the MOTB. Okay, and with the MOTB, you cannot buy or sell, right? So this further ushers in a certain way to control people who don't take the MOTB and who do take it, right? Because you're going to have consequences off this social credit score by them collecting all the data that they need on you, okay? You're going to have consequences by a certain way you move in society. Like the prophets, we speak out against Babylon. Those are certain things that Esau is looking for, you know? He's looking for people to speak out against the government or speak out against their laws or implements or executive orders. This is what this little tracking system will be used for, man. You know, to identify the ones that don't agree with the man in power, man, Esau Edom at this time. Okay? And it says it's gonna be a digital dictatorship armed with algorithms and powered by unaccountable, all-seeing artificial intelligence. All-seeing artificial intelligence. We know that this is the device of Esau, because what? He wants to be an omnipotent man. He wants to be God, man. He wants to be all-seeing and all-knowing, man. You know? And he's trying to play that role out here on planet Earth because he knows his time is almost up, man. You know? Let me get a scripture. What's the scripture? A minute. I was in Thessalonians earlier. But it says 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And start at verse 4. It says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High, right? And you know, this is the mind state of Esau Edom. You know, this is the mind state that they're in, man. They want to be and play the role of the Most High, man. So that's why we see him making and cultivating devices that try to resemble a omnipotent being. Okay, you know, his AI is beyond. It's doing beyond measures of what they expected. Okay. You know, you got AIs blackmailing the people that, you know, that do the tests on them and you know, make sure their algorithms are right. You got people blackmailing them, man. I mean, you got AIs blackmailing people when they're being told to shut down and cut off, man. You know, these things are furthering a step into what we're going to be living in here soon in Babylon, which is a digital dystopian society. Okay, a digital dystopian society, right? Okay, and when you go into that word dystopian, and which a dystopian society goes back to also a totalitarian regime, you know, or authoritarian regime, okay, or authoritarian society. It says a dystopian definition is relating to or denoting an imagined state or society where there is great suffering, okay, or injustice, okay. So this platform where the privacy of the masses are being taken away, and you know, you're put under watch, you know, by the adversary. You know, he's gonna be watching you. You know, he's going to be watching you, making sure you're not getting out of line. You're not doing things out of the ordinary of that imagined state, because that imagined state comes with what? Certain rules, man. Okay? There's going to be implemented certain rules during this time when these things are implemented. You know, there's going to be certain executive orders which have already been passed, probably since Obama has been in office, Bush has been in office, and now, you know, Biden as well, too, and Trump now, you know. They've been passing hella executive orders that's going to make this society convenient for them when the time comes for who obeys and who disobeys, man. Okay? So know that this is going to be a society where there's a great suffering or injustice, man. You know? And Esau has to have that under control, man. Okay? which that would be ushered in through a social credit system. Okay, now I'm gonna go to Chat GTP, and I'm gonna I asked Chat GTP. I said, give a modern day example of a dystopian society and what that would look like in America today. Okay, it says a modern day example of a dystopian society can be illustrated by imagining an exaggerated version of current trends in the U.S. taken to extremes. Here's a conceptual scenario of what that might look like. Dystopian America, the syndicate states of America. Okay, it says year 2035. Number one, hyper super surveillance. This is what this means. Okay, this is what this means for Babylon, man. This is what this means for people in America. Okay, this is what's coming. It says hyper surveillance and algorithmic control, and how they're doing that via AI, artificial intelligence, man, which is really a damn demon, man. You know, this device is nothing but the works of Satan, man. You know, it's a device of Satan, man. That's all this is. It says everyone is tracked 24/7 through biometric implants. What are those? Biometric implants. What is that? Like I said, this will usher in this thing that Trump is doing will usher in a convenient society for the MOTB, okay, which is a biometric implant. All right, everyone is tracked 24/7 through biometric implants and smart devices. Facial recognition is mandatory in every action. What you buy, say, or who you associate with is scored in a social harmony index. All right. Now that social harmony index is going back to a social credit system. Like I was saying, the social credit system comes where a system is basically not occupying, but a system is basically monitoring an individual, and they have a certain score based off of things that they can't do in society and things that they can do in society. The things that they can do in society and are accepted by the regime, the head regime or the syndicate, the things that are accepted, you know, you get points. Like a normal credit score. You know, a normal credit score, you have what? It's from I think 0 to 700 or 300 to 700. I mean 300 to 800 or whatever. Okay, so this credit score is going to be, I think, from 0 to 100. Right? And I did a video on this like a year or two, maybe 2 years ago. Which how willing I can do a part 2 to this, because there's more to this. All right? And it says who you associate with is scored in a social harmony index. Falling below a certain score restricts travel, employment, and even access to housing or education. Okay? Now, due to this is gonna like I said, this is gonna further the affliction, man. You know, this is gonna further, but this is also gonna further prophecy to come to pass. All right? Because it's also prophesied that there will be martial law, and you know, you won't have access to certain things because what? Because you take the biometric implant or these smart devices. Okay? And this is just showing you how what the society or what this world will look like today, if this happens, which it will happen, and it's coming, man. It's coming soon. It said what it looks like. AI drones fly overhead, scanning public gatherings. You see this in some movies and some series on Netflix and Hulu, man, where they have AI drones monitoring the city. You know, there's a what's it called? There's a series called Code 8, where there are beings that what did I say beings? There's people that have, you know, supernatural powers, and Esau is basically a society where, you know, it's basically this right here. It's like fast forward into a society where Esau is already got everything in place, already have his dystopian society in place, right? And there are people out here with powers that can't use them in the city, you know, only for work and building, you know, only to build the city they can use these powers, these, you know, supernatural powers. But there's drones all around the city. There's robots that police robots that control and patrol and monitor if these people get out of line, you know. And what I perceive through watching it, you know, they're just looking for the elect, trying to monitor the elect, because the elect will receive will receive spiritual power, you know. But that's a whole other topic. But in this series called Code 8, you know, this is what was going on. They had biometric scans, they had numbers on them, you know, like little barcodes, and you had drones monitoring the city all around, man. Okay, there's another series called The Colony, where this takes place. Okay, it says police wear body cams that live stream to a centralized AI for real-time behavioral scoring. Individuals speak in coded language to avoid triggering the dissent detection system, which, of course, this is what the elect will be doing. You know, this is what, you know, we'll probably be speaking during these times for us not to be found or revealed. There's probably going to be something that we're going to speak in code. You know, most of it we're probably speaking in the Hebrew, in the ancient language, man. Okay, in ancient Paleo Hebrew. It says corporate-run government. The federal government have been effectively replaced by a coalition of mega corporations. Politicians are just figureheads. Real decisions are made by boards of directors from companies like NeuroNet, Agricor, and Safecore. You know, so big data tech companies, big technology big tech companies, just major corporations that basically have a hand in sculpting this society or you know, this society today. You know, it makes it easier on them, which is the rich. You know, these are the rich. You know, the rich are the only ones making these decisions because they want to be able to you know, prolong their days, man. But it looks like for schools, public schools only teach skills needed for corporate work. Citizens are born into company zones and cannot work for a rival corporation without paying huge defection fees. Healthcare, housing, and food are subscription-based and bundled into your employment package. It's crazy. You see, if you take the MOTP, you can't work, can't buy or sell. So, you know, look how they're making it convenient for people that are willing to submit. Climate collapse and resource, but see, we don't have to worry about you know, how healthcare, housing, and food, man. You know, the Lord said he would take care of his prophets, okay? You know, he said he has care for his elect. He said he will feed his elect, you know. Well, he say, my servant shall eat. It's Isaiah 65:13. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. And that's right. But we don't have to worry about these type of things. The type of things that they're putting in here, you know, we have to, you know, be aware of it. But certain things we don't have to worry about because the Lord is going to, you know, we don't have to worry about nothing because the Lord is going to take care of us if we do our part, man. All right? You know? But there's things that, you know, we're going to have to pay attention to keep us under surveillance, man. You know, from being under surveillance, man. You know, climate collapse and resource stratification. Says climate disasters has reshaped much of country. Clean water and fresh food are scarce. You know, there'll be famine. There'll be only inventory for the ones who submit. You know, there'll only be rations for those who submit to this society and to the orders of this society. You know, it says only the elite have the access to climate safe zones, massive dome cities with artificial ecosystems. And like I said, in the series Code 8, they had an underground city, underground bunker type city that was inside of a mountain, man. And it had a different ecosystem. They had their own dome, you know, covering it. under this, and then they had what's it called? They had a artificial sun, which was crazy. But they had fresh vegetation. You know, they had little ecosystems where they could grow food and still survive, but they weren't on top of land. They were under a fucking mountain, in a mountain, man. Rural areas are abandoned, wastelands known as the brown zones. Regular Americans living in dense, crumbling megacities with controlled water and energy rations. Notice it's saying rations, man. You know, these things aren't freely accessed anymore. Protests for climate justice are labeled eco-terrorism and met with militarized force. So look, you protest anything against this type of society, you know, you're gonna be met with force, man. Military, police, you know, it could be UN troops, you know, whatever the case may be at the time when this comes, man. Information control and cultural rewriting. You know, this is like a Renaissance 2.0, right? The media is consolidated into a single platform, Truth Wave, a fully AI curated content feed, meaning that it's going to be it's going to be only what they accept into this AI to deem as true. All right. It says independent journalism is outlawed under the Infosanity Act. It's outlawed, and I need to look up Infosanity Act and see if that's a real thing, because it probably is. So independent journalism. So anybody having their opinions on society, these podcasts. A podcast would be like an independent journalist. You know, what we do would be like independent journalism, because they're gonna say it's based off opinion and it's not fact. You know, but we know we have the truth. Okay. Looks like people receive daily truth briefs with their allowed opinions. Why would they do that? To see the minds of the state of the people in the society that they've built. They want to see if this people has a mind to rebel. You know, they want to see if they have a mind that doesn't agree with the orders or the ways of this society. You know, it says children pledge allegiance to unity and efficiency every morning. History is rewritten every few years to align with current corporate narratives. You see, the dystopian America exaggerates real concerns like surveillance, corporate influence, climate change, and misinformation to show how quickly democratic freedoms could erode if left unchecked. And it says, would you like a visual or story-based version of this setting? I hit yes. It's going to show you a short narrative in a dystopian America. Okay. Location: Sector 14, Safe Court Zone, former Minneapolis. And like I said, if you watch Code 8 or Colony, this is how they were describing people's locations and identifying people, you know, by sectors and safe zones and what part of the city is this. You know, I'm not going to read all this, but you know, this is what's coming, man. You know, this is exactly what's coming. Man, let me see. It says, yeah, see, the Orwellian nightmare of a dystopian surveillance society is now reality. Trump appears to be building an unprecedented spy machine that can track Americans, man. And like I said, this man is trying to be the Most High, man. He's trying to be the Most High. Okay. It says, this isn't about national security. It's about control. Okay, they want to see who they can control, you know, with what they can control, man. All right. It says, according to news reports, the Trump administration is quietly collaborating with Palantir Technologies, the data mining behemoth co-founded by billionaire Peter Thiel, to construct a centralized government-wide surveillance system that would consolidate biometric behavior and geological data into a single weaponized database of America's private information. Okay, and the behavior thing, if you Google let me see, it's a lot. social credit system chart. I'm gonna try to find the best one, man, because some of them be blurry. Let me see. Yeah, see, it's gonna be blurry. Let me see if it clears up a little bit. Because this is based off of China's social credit system, okay? This is just to see that, okay, look, so like the phone had stopped recording, but this is an example of a social credit score. This is the behavioral. It's a lot. Let me go back because it says right here. Okay, this is the behavioral part, and this is key because people have to know that this is something that people should really actually pay attention to. Okay, the behavior part will go into a social credit system similar to China's social credit system. All right. It says so basically there'll be certain things you do in society, right? And there's certain things that you can do that decreases your score. Okay. Now, of course, it's not going to be exactly like China's because there's going to be certain things that China's going to accept or allow that Babylon wouldn't. Simple as that. That the government doesn't want certain people to do. That the elites over here don't want certain people to do over here. There's going to be certain things, they're not going to be okay with. That's not going to be the same nature of China's, okay? But this is just an example, all right? Okay, so let's see. What's the aim? It says the system intends to monitor, rate, and regulate financial, social, moral, and possibly political behavior of China's citizens, and also the country's companies, via a system of punishments and reward. The stated aim is to provide the trustworthy with benefits. Who are the trustworthy? The ones that are not going to go against Esau in this society and whatever he's pushing. With benefits and discipline the untrustworthy. The ones that they can't trust, which is going to be the elect, man. The Chinese government considers the system an important tool to steer China's economy and to govern society. There's still much speculation about how the final system will actually function, blah, blah, blah. All right, boom. Now let's see the pros and the cons. Let's see how you gain points and how do you lose points. You have a maximum of 1,300 points that can be reached, right? Engaging in charity work, good point. Taking care of elderly family members, good points. Positively influencing one's neighborhood, good points. All right, now let's see bad points. How do you lose points? Traffic offenses, such as drunk driving or jaywalking. Illegally protesting against the authorities. Who does that? Who protests against the adversary and the ones that's over us with authority, man? The prophets. Okay? So you can see how this is going to be used against us. Not visiting Asian parents regularly. See, this is China. This is what China wants. I'm pretty sure Babylon don't care. They don't care if your parents die off. Posting anti-government messages on social media. Look, this is what's coming. This is what will decrease you in points. And with these points, it's gonna show what these scores can lead to when you increase scores, and what the scores can lead to when you decrease in scores. Spreading rumors on the internet, decrease in score. Insincere apologies for crimes committed, decrease in score. Participating in anything deemed to be a cult. Oh man. So, brothers, brethren, this is what Babylon is about to look like for us. Okay. And then look, let's read. High scores can lead to priority for school admissions and employment, meaning that you'll be put first if you abide by these things in this society. Look, praising the government on social media, helping the poor, having a good financial credit history, committing a hero act, that gains more of your score. Each citizen is expecting to be given a social credit score that will increase or decrease depending on whether the subject's social behavior is acceptable. This is a totalitarian dystopian regime, society being pushed right in front of our faces, man. And it's going to be mandated. The system is expected to draw on huge amounts of data about each and every individual gathered from traditional sources such as financial, criminal, government records, existing data from registry offices or school officials, along with digital sources. The latter include data collected on the internet, such as the subject search history, shopping preferences, e-commerce sites, and interactions on social media. You see? Now I'm going to go back to the things that benefit the people that submit. High scores can lead to priority for school admissions and employment, easier access to cash loans and consumer credit, deposit-free bicycle and car hire, free gym facilities, cheaper public transport, shorter wait times in hospitals. Oh, man. You see? And you don't take the MOTB, you can't get no insurance. You can't see the hospital. You know? We're going to have to depend on the Lord, man. Fast track promotion at work, jump in the queue for public housing tax breaks. Punishments can lead to, and this is the juicy part, denial of licenses, permits, and access to some social services. You will be a castaway. They're going to cast you out of society. You're not going to be able to live like the ones who take the MOTB. Okay? Less access to credit, restricted access to public services like traveling. You can't get on certain trains, buses, flights. That's going to be done away, you know? If you do things like posting anti-government messages on social media, you know, we're against this regime, man. We're against this syndicate. We're against the elites. Ineligibility for government jobs, no access to private schools, and public shaming. Exposure either online or on TV screens and public spaces of the names, photos, and ID numbers of blacklisted citizens. Phone dial tones mandated by authorities that inform people they are calling a dishonored debtor. Okay? So, and that's just a rundown of what Trump is actually ushering in with this new digital prison, man. Okay? You know? And these are the devices that Esau is rolling out, man. You know? It says this isn't about protecting freedom, it's about rendering freedom obsolete. When what we're witnesses is the transformation of America into a digital prison, one where inmates are told we're free while every move, every word, every thought is monitored, recorded, and used to assign a threat score that determines our place in the new hierarchy of obedience. The tools enabling this all-seeing surveillance regime are not new, but under Trump's direction, they are being fused together in unprecedented ways with Palantir at the center of this digital dragnet. Okay? And, you know, these are the things that they're going to use on the masses, man. You know? But these devices are not, you know, we see these things and we automatically understand that, you know, it's going to be used against us. Okay? You know, this devil has a short time, and he's about to come down on the masses, man. Okay, he's about to come down on you niggas, you Jakes, you know, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. He's about to come down on us, man. All right. Let me see. What was let me see. Let me see. No. Yeah. We're not, like I said, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. We understand that this man is gonna. The 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, "Lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, man." Okay, we're not ignorant. You know, we see these things happening, man. These things are prophesied. You know, that, hey, there's going to be a time of trouble, okay? So when you see that word dystopian being used in a manner of something that's of political content that will be implemented in society, you know, Jacob's trouble is going to be a time of dystopian measures, okay? You know, what they say, a time that never been before, man. The earth has never seen. Okay, time. Let me see. And I told you that word dystopian goes into an imagined state, of great suffering. Okay. Where is this precept? I was looking for. Okay. But let me get this. This is Isaiah 33, 2. It says, "O Yahweh, be gracious unto us. We have waited for thee. Be thou their arm every morning." You know, our salvation also in the time of trouble. Okay? You know, so we have to pray to the Lord during these times, when these times come, man. You know, these times are gonna come, and we can't go there. Our people won't be able to go down to Egypt for help unless they take the MODB. You know, but the elect in the 1/3, we're gonna depend on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Okay. That really wasn't the precept that I was looking for. Kind right here, Daniel 12:1. It says, "At that time, Michael shall stand up, being the archangel of war, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time." Okay, like I say, dystopian society or dystopian devices will invoke what? A time of trouble, man, a time of great suffering or injustice. Okay. "And at that time thy people shall be delivered, and everyone that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever." Okay. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. You know, I mean, I can end it with Revelations 12:12. You know, the devil is gonna coming down on you with great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time, man. You know, and we see these things, these prophecies hasting. You know, they're hasting. They're coming by quick, right? Why? Because like I just said, Revelation 12:12. I'm gonna go ahead and just read it, and then I'm gonna end it. This is Revelation 12:12 says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth," meaning destruction, you know, and of the sea, "for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." Okay, and that's the times that we're in, man. The days are evil. You know, we're in perilous times right now. We're about to be in perilous times. There are perilous days ahead, man. Okay, but yes, a digital dystopian society is very nigh. Okay, hopefully this was edifying. Until next time, shalom, shalom.